Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This week's review session is here. So, the first image. This image, I see a beautiful leopardess, I think probably a leopardess, on a nice setting. What I would have done here is probably if there was an option to zoom in more while shooting itself, I would have done that. And I see these two trees on either of the sides are causing a distraction here. So it's not a really great photo opportunity, unfortunately, here. Though the leopard is nicely sitting, because of the other elements around it, it's not looking so great. One option here could have been by zooming out and shooting, including these two trees, probably a very minimalistic image of the leopard. Apart from that, what you could have also done is go a little up close or make a tight portrait of only the half of the leopard. But I think it wouldn't still have been so appealing as compared to if these two trees weren't there here. Apart from that, while post processing, I see a little bit of lack of details on the leopard here and a lot of noise in the frame. So you can use denoise while processing and slightly cut down the noise. Also, if you look at the bottom of the leopard, the belly and the thigh of the leopard, the white patches have little bit of blues even on the edge of the tail. So you can slightly recover that also by playing around with the saturation with individual colors while post processing. This picture, a very nice setting. I think it's highly cropped. Do not crop so much because the more you crop, the more you lose details on your subject. If you see, the kingfisher looks kind of very grainy in the frame. And also, since the body of the bird is parallel to you and the subject is looking to the right of the frame, I would have gone horizontal here. And I think probably this frame would have looked more prettier horizontal because of all these leaves. The branching out leaves would have looked and made a nice frame for the kingfisher. The crop ratio itself is a little odd here. This is more of a video crop. This is how your videos look like. This is a 9 is to 16 crop. I would do 3 is to 2 for all photos always because your camera's sensor is a 3 is to 2 sensor. And no need of zooming in so much. This is a very tight shot. You can zoom out a bit and shoot. Also add a bit of space on the left hand side of the frame. That will give you a more breathing space. The right hand side, the positive area where you're looking at the subject, the direction, the sense of direction is absolutely fine. It's perfect. If you have space on the back also, it'll look more pretty. But the major thing here is I would have slightly used the warmer tone here because I see a bit of grays on the head, on the wings and all kind of getting clipped off. I would have slightly made the picture more warmer. And another thing, like I said, the ratio. I would have shot at 3 is to 2 ratio. Again, the same problem with 9 is to 16. 9 is to 16 really works well for videos, not for photos. I would advise you not to do this for pictures. In case you haven't figured out why it is, in your camera settings, if you go to the shooting options, there will be something called as aspect ratio. In that, it might have accidentally changed also. So bring it to 3 is to 2. About the image, I think it's little too flat. There's no highlights. I think the highlights have been cut down in the frame. That makes the flamingos look very dull colored. And probably you could have slightly overexposed this shot because everything looks brighter in the frame. The camera would have intentionally underexposed the frame. Apart from that, some more space at the back again. Too much space in the direction of the subject moving, but less space in the back. It would have been more balancing if you had some more space at the back also. A very nice shot. What I would do here is, in this case, I would slightly cut down the highlights. So if you look at the eyebrows of the tiger, no, if you see on the patch above the eye, the highlights are little blown out. So you can bring it down and cut it down. Also, if you see the leaves on the ground ahead of the tiger, everything looks blown out. This is the reason. The reason being your subject has been overexposed here. It could be also a problem of your camera internally where your camera sensed a lot of darks in the frame. If you see there's green, there's brown, there's a tree which is brown there. So your camera might have felt it's shooting something darker. That's when it has tried to overexpose the shot and given you this image. So here the classic case would be underexposing it. So if you underexpose it, the tiger looks normal, the background looks even more darker. So for this shot, I would at least underexpose by, if your shot is at 0 here, I would have underexposed it by -1. Beautiful minimalistic image, gorgeous this is. The only thing what I would have loved is some more space at the bottom and cutting the space at the top. The sky is too much in the frame, which is making me lose the attention on the giraffe. The giraffe should be more higher in the plane with more foreground also here. Probably if you had kept the giraffe 15% above what it is actually now, it would have looked even more prettier. Again, case of exposure. So underexposing this would look more prettier. Slightly overcropped, slightly too tight for a shot. Maybe slightly zooming out will make it prettier. Playing with contrast also helps here. Apart from that, it looks good. The only thing what I see is on the behind trees, on the trees barks, you can see a bit of blues, a bit of magentas and purples. So please go to the color balance section, reduce the colors individually by desaturating them. Very nicely shot, very beautiful use of the foreground and the background, both. Nothing much to review here. It's a very nicely done shot. The only thing what you could have done is cut down a bit of shadows so that the spotlight which is on the right side of the elephant's head would look more prominent. Not a photo opportunity at all. Not a great opportunity at all. This is. You see a lot of issues here. So one, the frame is too green. If you look at the frame has a lot of green tinge. The tree where the leopard is sitting, the bark, probably there could be some algae also, but the frame looks very, very green. For this kind of conditions, what you can go do is on the tint slider in processing in the color section, slightly pull it towards the magentas until you see the green disappearing. Do not overdo it because too much of magentas also will spoil the frame. Very beautifully done, very nicely shot. I think very well executed, a very nice wide angle shot. The only thing here is again, I'll cut down the highlights to reduce the overexposed parts, the blown out parts on the left of the tiger, and slightly use the masking tool, brush on the right hand side, the left hand side of the tiger's face, and lift up the shadows. Also, the focus is slightly off. It's very, very minimal. I feel the leg, the paw is more sharper than the eye. So that is something you'll have to be very careful, especially when the subject is way too close. Gorgeous shot, very nicely done. Very nice winter mood in this image. Slightly warmen up if you want to keep it a middle of yellows. Slightly you can make it warmer. And I think nothing much to do in this. Slightly you can lift up the shadows on the tiger and cut down the blues on the tiger. On the cheek of the tiger, I can see some blues. And the only thing is, I would slightly tilt this frame to the left hand side because I feel the bend which is on the left is slightly tilted to the right. Very nicely shot. Again, lovely shot. The same problem again, like your previous image. You should have gone underexposed and this would have been a classic image. You can do it in post-processing, but if you get it on the camera itself, it'll be fantastic. Because you see, there's a lot of greens in the background, right? It's a tricky shot, very honestly. The sand, then the greens, but the greens are dominating the sand. So now, because of too much of greens, your camera is trying to feel that it's a darker element in the frame and it's trying to give you a shot which makes the green look normal because it is trying to give you an exposure for the darks. Now, when the green has to look normal, what will happen to your already bright subject? It will get blown out. That is what has happened on the tiger's face. If you see, the tiger's face is kind of blown out. The details on the whites is kind of blown out. That is where you will have to tell your camera, boss, I want my tiger to be the prominent. Tiger is my hero in the subject. I will reduce it. I don't care about the background. Doing that, you will get the tiger properly exposed and the background more darker, which will give you a low key kind of image feeling. So probably if you can send me a raw file of this, I'll help you process this and send it to you. Awesome, guys. Fantastic. So nice to see a few more images added. Please keep them coming. If you want to learn, I would be happy to help you always. If you guys want to take your photography to the next level, this is why we are doing it for you guys. We would love to see more participation in this and see you guys next week. Thank you so much.